Hello, everyone. Today, I'll introduce you to the dynamic design of plant landscapes. We all know that plants are living entities that go through cycles of growth, bloom, and decay, showcasing a dynamic life process. Its characteristic is unique to plants and can be effectively utilized in landscape design. Additionally, the natural environment, whether sunny, rainy, windy, or cloudy, create a very temporal and spatial environment for plants. These elements blend with the plants, producing a rich array of spatial and psychological experiences. Therefore, when creating plant landscapes, you should consider dynamic design from the seasonal characteristics of plants and the integration of plants with the temporal and spatial environment. Let's focus on these two aspects to explore methods of dynamic plant landscape design. 1. Seasonal design of plant landscapes. Spring design. Spring landscapes should evoke a sense of renewal and vitality, with an emphasis on the vibrant colors of blossoming flowers. For example, plants that bloom in spring such as magnolia, forsythia, and winter jasmine flower before leafing. Apricot and plum trees bloom abundantly, filling the branches with flowers that are best planted near walls and hedges to fully express the vitality of spring. As if to say, no garden can contain the spring, a branch of red apricot bursts through the wall. Spring landscape design should not only showcase the colors of spring flowers, but also use various plants in thoughtful combinations to extend the spring scenery. To achieve this, you can mix plants with different blooming periods, such as planting magnolia mimosa on the upper layer, beech cherry and crapple on the middle layer, and azalea and flowering quince on the lower layer.
Furthermore, herbaceous flowers can supplement the blooming periods of woody flowers.
For example, large plantings of red sorrel, iris, and February orchid can create a spectacular sea of flowers. Summer design. In the summer, a landscape that provides dense, cooling shade and lush greenery is ideal. Thus, plant landscape designs often integrate elements of water and towering forests to create a cool atmosphere. Open yet densely wooded spaces may consist of mixed forest or pure stand, each offering its own aesthetic appeal. For instance, upper layers might include tall sweet gum trees, while the middle layer could feature camphor and eucalyptus trees to create varying depths of shade. The lower layer could be adorned with crepe myrtle, hibiscus, and flowering quince, adding a lively touch to the cooling shades. Here stands of trees like Magnolia grandiflora, camphor, or maple that be used singularly, creating open understory areas with old, robust trunks and dense canopies. If positioned near a lotus pond, the blue-green leaves stretching across the water would enhance the tranquil and comfortable setting. In smaller courtyard spaces, to add a touch of life, bungratanes and sunflowers might be planted beside walls and windows. Alternatively, creating trellises wrapped with climbing plants like trumpet vine and millet IA would craft a serene and leisurely scene.
Autumn design. In autumn, the changing colors of the leaves are the main attraction. In undulating mountainous areas, the strategic combination of different species with autumn-colored foliage can create a forest bathed in layers of color. In smaller community settings, evergreen trees like camphor and pine could form a backdrop, accentuating the bright reds of maple and winged euonymus. Common autumn foliage includes trees whose leaves turn yellow, such as ginkgo, American ash, paulownia, and sculler tree, and those that turn red, including sweet gum, Esopium, A. Sir palmatum, Acer sacrum, and Rust ifina.
Autumn fruits are also crucial to landscape design, with fruit-laden trees like persimmon, crapple, sorbus, and pomegranate being popular choices. Additionally, aromatic plants like osmanthus fragrans are ideal near windows or in corners, their unexpected fragrance refreshing and uplifting to passers-by. Winter design. The beauty of winter landscapes lies in the purity and solitude of the season. To embody this essence, select plants that resonate with these qualities, evoking both desolation and resilience. Traditional combinations like pine, bamboo, and plum perfectly express winter's spirit. Landscapes dominated by deciduous trees, with withering plants and stark branches, create a unique aesthetic.
For example, the winter-sweetened plum bloom in the cold, releasing a subtle fragrance, while the snow-covered red berries of firethorn add vitality to the desolate winter scene. A method of showcasing seasonal plant scenery often involves planting a sufficient quantity of one or several types of plants to create a striking visual effect during a particular season. This not only highlights the beauty of a specific season, but also showcases the main plants, creating landscapes like Plum Blossom Mountain, Red Maple Hill, and Ginkgo Square. The West Lake Scenic Area is particularly renowned for its outstanding seasonal plant landscapes. In early spring, Sioux Causeway features peach and willow trees, with buds smiling on green willows brushing the banks. At Flower Harbor, peonies bloom in late spring, showcasing vibrant colors and graceful beauty. Puyuan Gardens lotuses stand tall in summer, with blossoms swaying in the breeze. At Manjui Long, osmanthus flowers scatter their fragrant petals in mid-autumn. Leifeng Pagoda is surrounded by red maples in late autumn, with leaves that paint the landscape in brilliant hues. At the sunset, in winter, the plum blossoms at Solitary Hill bloom bravely against the frost and snow. These seasonal displays at West Lake enhance the natural beauty of its mountains and waters, making the scenery even more captivating. Creating seasonal plant landscapes involves utilizing the seasonal characteristics of plants, arranging them thoughtfully to create dynamic and colorful spaces. Understanding the prominent seasonal plants in your area is essential for effective design.
Next, we'll explore how to harmonize plants with their environmental context in different times and spaces. 1. Plant landscapes in rainy scenes. Design method. Incorporating rain scenes. Integrate rain scenes with plants to create a unique, cohesive landscape. Plants with large, thick leaves, such as banana plants, lotus leaves, and parasol trees, are often chosen to enhance the sound of rain. 2. Plant landscapes in windy scenes. Design method. Borrowing scenery. As Liu mentioned in occasional notes with leisure motions, planting trees is not only for visual pleasure but also for auditory enjoyment. Traditional gardens often use plants to enhance the auditory experience, a technique worth emulating today. Examples include the Polonia Sound Pavilion in Nanjing's Uyuan Garden and the Pine Wind of 10,000 Valleys in Cheng's Mountain Resort. To evoke the sound of wind, plants with small, dense leaves, like poplars, pines, and bamboo are commonly used, often planted in large, pure stands, to create a continuous and impactful soundscape. 3. Plant landscapes in snowy scenes. Design method. Contrasting scenery. In snowy landscapes, plants and snow complement each other. Snow highlights the shape, color, and texture of plant branches, trunks, and fruits, while the vertical lines of tree trunks contrast with the snow-covered ground. 4. Plant landscapes in airflow. Design method. Creating separated scenery. The experience of scent detection is a common part of garden exploration, making it an important aspect of plant landscape design. Lin Biyu's poem, Sparse Shadows Slant Across the Shallow Water, Faint Fragrance Drifts at Dusk, beautifully captures the essence and charm of plum blossoms by the water and under the moonlight. In large spaces with wide exploration areas, designers often use the natural rise and fall of the terrain or intentional partitions to create smaller, enclosed spaces. As visitors stroll through these areas, the subtle fragrance of flowers is carried intermittently by the breeze, creating a fleeting, elusive experience. In smaller spaces like courtyards, aromatic plants can be slightly concealed, allowing the scent to be discovered gradually as it moves with the air. For summary, this concludes the introduction to dynamic design. From the perspectives of seasonal plant characteristics and the integration of plants with temporal and spatial environments. In practical projects, it's essential to be familiar with the prominent seasonal plants in the local area, thoughtfully pair them, and creatively blend them with wind, rain, snow, and other environmental elements to produce dynamic and varied landscapes. That concludes today's lesson. Thank you for listening.